5-year-old Demari Davey, who was killed by a motor car while walking home from school, is laid to rest near Kellits, Clarendon. His school, in a tribute, says he was a star.
At lunch and break, he asked permission to go to the bathroom. I have to say, Demari, when it's break and lunch, you can go freely to the bathroom. That's how disciplined he was. Trudy and Mr. Davey, they have created a wonderful child. And at the Bunkers Hill Primary, we have lost a shining star.
Member of Parliament Dwight Sibley's is among people who attended the Thanksgiving service.
Children here grieving openly because they too has lost a brother, a uncle, a friend.
When you left us, a hole was created in our heart. Although you only got to spend 5 years with us, we will hold on to these memories and focus on the good times as we find solace in each other during this difficult time.
And it was double grief for the family. This as the child is buried along with his 62-year-old grand-uncle who died weeks before him. The grand-uncle's sister recalls standing by her brother to the very end.
I take very good care of him before he died. I am sure he wasn't a rich guy, but he never suffers before he died. I helped him in every way that he called on me. I helped him.
It was a funeral for two, 5-year-old Demari Davey and his 62-year-old grand-uncle Cornelius Brown. Though 57 years apart, the two were born in December and also buried in December beside each other in one family plot at Broadleaf District in the Retford area of Kellits, Clarendon.
I'm just about through with the soul of Subway. I'm leaving this world for glory someday.
Brown died of an illness on September 20, 2023. Weeks later, on October 11, his little grandnephew died on the main road in his rural community after being hit by a motor car. At that time, the child was walking home from school with his older brother and his mother Shemoy Kirkland. His mom rested her head on top of his casket, crying during a Thanksgiving service held for him and his grand-uncle on Saturday, December 16 at Retford New Testament Church of God. Following the deadly hit-and-run incident, the police charged 33-year-old driver William Bell from Bunkers Hill in Clarendon with causing death by dangerous driving. He was offered bail in the sum of $1 million. The prosecution is a welcomed step in pursuit of justice, but it does not negate the emotional hurt precipitated by the tragedy.
When you left us, a hole was created in our heart. Although you only got to spend 5 years with us, we will hold on to these memories and focus on the good times as we find solace in each other during this difficult time. For those who knew him, I am sure you all have your own memories. Don't ever let them go. Just by being here, you showed that Jaden had an impact. Sleep on my nephew. Even though I won't get to provoke you this Christmas, you will never be forgotten. Rest on, little king.
Demari, who was in grade 1 at Bunkers Hill Primary, was said to be a promising child. His school, in a tribute, went as far as to describe him as a star.
At lunch and break, he asked permission to go to the bathroom. I have to say, Demari, when it's break and lunch, you can go freely to the bathroom. That's how disciplined he was. Trudy and Mr. Davey, they have created a wonderful child, and at the Bunkers Hill Primary, we have lost a shining star.
We're mourning too of this wonderful student who would have lost. We want to say our condolences to you, the family, and of course, you know, we are here. He was that student who is always, he's asking questions and he's very intelligent. And I remember that about him. When I learned of his passing, I was really taken aback by it, because I know that he was such a promising student.
The school staff also delivered a song promulgating the idea of a heavenly reunion.
And I believe he's coming back like he said. And I believe that the trumpet will sound so long.
One day you will come that day.
Among the other people who did tributes is Dwight Sibley's, Member of Parliament for Clarendon Northern, where the two deceased relatives are from.
It is not often that we come together to give thanksgiving for two lives. More so, it is not often that we come together to give thanksgiving for two lives that have not reached the age of 70. And so, if you notice, the grieving and the pain is so much. And if you notice that we do have children here grieving openly, because they too has lost a brother, a uncle, a friend, a cousin. What do you say to a loved one in circumstances like this?
Sibley's also had comforting words for members of the bereaved family.
The profound thing is that Jesus said, I am the life. Friends, I ask you to trust him. You don't have to trust the pastor. You don't have to trust the MP. You don't have to trust anybody that come up here. Trust Jesus. Call upon him. He will answer.
Words of encouragement also came from Fabian Rose, who noted that the grief is likely to be harder to bear, considering that the family has lost not one, but two loved ones within the same month.
It's easy at this moment for you to go through two. But nevertheless, the Bible tells you, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away.
She also belted out a song.
I can almost hear the trumpet, and Gabriel sound his church. But at the midnight cry, he'll be going home.
Dandy Williams Grant, who did the eulogy for little Demari, spoke highly of him.
Demari Davey, otherwise called Jaden, was born at the Mapen Hospital on December 7, 2017, and attended the Bunkers Hill Primary and Infant School in the community of Broadleaf, where he lived with his mother, Shemoy Kirkland, his father, Oral Davey, and his older brother, Ronaldo. His mother described him as an amazing individual who got along with everyone both at church, school, and within the community. His vibrant demeanor, which lights up any room, although he acted a little shy, was a beam of brightness to us all. He enjoyed dancing and taking selfies on his tablet, even though most of the pictures only show some body parts.
The fond memories Williams Grant created with the late child are many, but according to her, two of them stand out more than the others.
There are two memories of Jaden that have been etched in my mind, and I will forever hold on to them. It was December of 2020 when Jaden was only 3 years old, and I came to Clarendon for Christmas. Due to COVID, I had not seen him in a while, and of course he had seemed to grown afraid of me. Everyone knows me as Auntie Dandy, who is always stern with them, my nieces and nephews that is. And as soon as he came by with my sister that day, I grabbed onto him and he started to cry. I said to him, if you are going to cry, you better can spell your name. As many conversations with the smaller ones always started with, spell a name for Auntie Dandy. Of course, he kept on crying, and as soon as I take out my phone to take a picture of us together, Jaden started to smile. Another memory was when we had the birthday party for Akisha and Mommy, and he came. He kept on asking, "Oh no, cut the cake." I said, "I hear a cake, brother." And of course, I had to chase him around until he ran between his mother's leg. And yet again, a photo was what saved me. And that is how I ended up with another selfie of us together.
Little Demari was not the only one portrayed in a positive light. That portrayal was extended to his grand-uncle Brown, who was born under humble circumstances on December 6, 1960.
Cornelius was a true son of Silbert, now deceased, and Hilda Brown. Inheriting their resilience and their unwavering devotion to farming. His childhood spent amongst the fields and friends of Broadleaf was a tapestry woven from the threads of hard work, laughter, and the simple joys of rural life. His education, though formal only in the halls of Collington and Stacyville all-age schools, was vast and encompassing. He learned the language of the land, the rhythm of the seasons, and the silent wisdom whispered by the wind through the fields.
It is said that Brown did not have a lot of money, but that did not stop him from being caring and kind.
He built a legacy not of bricks and mortar, but of love and laughter, of helping hands and open hearts. He was a man who understood the value of a shared meal and the warmth of a kind word. He was the first to offer a helping hand and give what he could. The one who always knew the right story to chase away the shadows. His life wasn't without its challenges, but he faced them with the same quiet determination he brought to his field. He weathered the storms, both literal and metaphorical, with a steady gaze and a heart full of hope. And even though he is gone, his spirit continues to bloom in the hearts of those who loved him. He lives on in the laughter of his daughter, in the stories shared by his siblings, in the memories etched on the faces of his friends. So as we bid farewell to Cornelius Brown, let us not weep for his passing, but rejoice in his life.
The late Brown had a daughter, 2 brothers and 5 sisters. One of his sisters, Brendalyn Smith, brought the congregation into her brother's childhood, noting that he was always jovial and kind-hearted.
We had many laughter days, many fun, many sad days. But Connie was a kind brother. I can attest to that. I remember Connie when life was rough for the family, my mother and my father. He would take bag and he went into the forest and he go look Barbie head. I don't know if many of you know that day, remember those days. And he would take to my mother and send Mama to Chapelton to sell it, to buy food for us.
She stood by her brother to the very end, she said.
I remembered him so much and I miss him. When I said I miss him, right during his sickness, I was there with him. I take him to the doctor. I buy his medication. I remember he took sick and I couldn't get to go with him to Maypen, and I called Zoom. And I said, take him to Maypen for me because I had to take my daughter to St. Anne's Bay because I had an appointment down there for her. And he admitted in the hospital. I visited him. I buy things for him. I take very good care of him before he died. I am sure he wasn't a rich guy, but he never suffers before he died. I helped him in every way that he called on me. I helped him. The last time when he got sick, and they called me and said he's sick, and I went there. I call a car and I take him to Chapelton. And I spent the day with him in Chapelton on the machine. The same day he died.
She also recalled the last moment she spent with her brother the same day he died.
They said, okay, they are going to send him to Maypen. I said to him, can you know I can't come at this hour because Mama up a yard and me have to go up to go look after Mama. He said, me understand Maureen, man. And when they were putting in him the ambulance, he said, no, lift me up. Me will walk. And he walked toward the ambulance door and he stepped up in the ambulance. And when he sit on the bed, he said, Lord, you know, see me. Have mercy upon me, God. That was the last thing I heard from him. When I reached Redland, in the bus coming over, I got a call that I must turn back to Chapelton. I said, yes, Lord, this is it. And when the doctor told me, he passed. But I am here today. I am glad because I always encouraging him to get saved, give his life to the Lord. I always tell him that. And he promised me, he said, Maureen, when I come back from hospital, I am going to get saved and baptized. But eventually, he didn't make it to come back. So I am telling the rest of my families, out of God and Christ, make it right today. Because you may not know the minute nor the hour when death shall appear.
At the end of the Thanksgiving service, the caskets were taken from the church, starting with Demari's. With both caskets inside the hearses respectively, it was time to commence the journey to the family plot in another section of Wreckford called Broadleaf. Within a few minutes, the relatively short distance was covered. Demari was the first one out. Together, the two were brought towards the family plot. It was a steep climb, but the pallbearers proved to be equal to the task. The journey was completed. The people got an opportunity to take a last look. The interment formally started, first with the granduncle.
It has become our sad duty to commit his body to the grave. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Little Demari was next.
It has come our sad duty to commit his body to the grave. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and our inspiring privilege to commit his soul to our Maker, Father and Redeemer, in the confident hope of the coming again of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the resurrection of the body from the grave, and the joyous life reserved for the children of light in the Psalms of glory.
The child's mother still in disbelief. Oral Davey, standing there in the middle, still devastated by the tragic death of his only child. The message on his t-shirt for his son could not have been clearer. Love always. Reporting from Kellits, Clarendon, I'm Horace Mills for the Jamaica Beacon.